Alright, so when I was doing the research for this video, I came across some pretty crazy stuff. So check this out. According to the Canada Revenue Agency, only 14.6 million Canadians actually have a tax-free savings account. That's out of a population of 37 million people. And 40% of people who have a tax-free savings account only use it as a simple savings account. To add to the issue, Bloomberg surveys shows that 1 in 4 people do not know the difference between a tax-free savings account and an RRSP. So in this video, I'm going to explain what a tax-free savings account is, how it works, and why I think it's the best account in Canada. So let's get straight into the video. What's going on, you guys? If you're new to the channel, my name is Brad, and we're gonna dive straight into this tax-free savings account. Now, I want to start off by covering the name of the account because I believe that's where a lot of confusion comes from. They call it the tax-free savings account. And the portion where it says savings account, I think is very misleading because it's so much more than just a savings account. What it should actually be called is a tax-free investment account, because inside of this account, you're able to hold different types of security. Now, security is stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, index funds, you name it. Any type of security you can hold inside this account. Now, the portion of the name where it says tax-free, that actually refers to any gains that you make inside of your account. So, for example, if you buy a stock and it goes up in value, and then you withdraw that money from your account, you don't have to pay taxes on that. This also goes for any interest you make on bonds or any dividend payouts you make from holding certain types of securities. I do want to note that there is an exception to this tax-free portion, and that is if you hold a security that is based in the United States that does pay out a dividend. That's going to be subject to a 15% withholding tax. This is not a tax you're going to have to worry about paying at the end of the year when you do your taxes. How it works is when you're going to get paid this dividend, the company pulls out the 15% off the top before it actually gets deposited inside of your tax-free savings account. This is obviously going to lead to promoting more Canadian stocks because you don't get taxed anything for holding any dividend-paying securities. However, it's only 15%, and if you want to hold these US securities that do pay a dividend, it's not really enough to deter a valuable investment. All right, so now that we know what a tax-free savings account is, let's get into how it works. Now, in order to open a tax-free savings account, you must have a valid SIN number or social insurance number. You also need to be the age of majority in the province you're from. So in some provinces it's going to be 18, and others it will be 19. Now, your age also plays a factor on how much money you are able to deposit inside of your tax-free savings account. Each year since 2009, when this account was introduced, there has been a contribution limit to how much you are allowed to deposit within your tax-free savings account. This limit starts from the age you turn 18. So even if you're in a province that has the age of majority of 19, you still get that allotted space from the year when you turned 18. Now, it's important to note that even if you have not deposited into your tax-free savings account, or you haven't even opened a tax-free savings account, you still have that space from each year since you turned 18 or the account was introduced in 2009. You don't lose any space just because you didn't contribute. It's just gonna be sitting there waiting for you whenever you're ready to use it. Let me show you what I mean. Now, I put together this chart which shows the limit for each year and the cumulative amount, just to make things simple. For example, if you were 18 or older in 2009, you will have the current maximum $75,500 worth of space you can contribute into your tax-free savings account. Now, there's another situation, which would be if you turned 18 after 2009. For example, if you turned 18 in 2013, you can take the total cumulative number from the year before, so 2012, and subtract it from the current year's amount, which would be $75,500 minus $20,000, which equals your maximum amount of contribution space, $55,500. Now, the contribution space is going to depend from individual to individual based off your age, like we already discussed. Now, it is important to note that this contribution limit is going to be for you as an individual. So, for example, you're allowed to open as many tax-free savings accounts as you want. You can open them with different brokerages or different financial institutions, it's up to you. However, you're not allowed to exceed your maximum contribution limit because that's set across the board. So if you want to divide that maximum amount across your tax-free savings accounts for whatever reason, you're totally allowed to do that. Now, for me personally, I like to keep it all in one place, make it nice and easy, but that's just me. You do whatever works for you. Okay, with all that in mind, I want to make something abundantly clear. Your contribution limit, that is exactly what it is. It's a limit for what you're allowed to contribute or deposit within your tax-free savings account. If you put in $5,000, for example, and you grow that $5,000 off of a great investment, let's say to $10,000, that additional $5,000 does not go towards your maximum contribution limit because you didn't actually deposit that money into the account. And this is why it's important for you to track how much you deposit within your tax-free savings account, because if you go over or exceed your maximum allowable space, you will have to pay a 1% penalty every month on the excess amount that you have deposited. Now that we know and understand our contribution details, I want to get into a little bit about the withdrawals from our account. If you want to withdraw money from your tax-free savings account, you can do that at any time you want without paying any penalties. That's unlike the RRSP, and why, in my personal opinion, I believe the tax-free savings account is by far the best account to have within Canada. Now, just to be clear, that when you withdraw money from your tax-free savings account, you do not lose that space like you would in an RRSP. How it works is if you withdraw money in one calendar year, you have to wait until the following calendar year, so January 1st of the next year, in order to get that space back. For example, if I was to withdraw $5,000 in 2020, I will not get that $5,000 back in contribution space until January 1st of 2021. Now, because you get the space back the next calendar year, this will allow you to increase your contribution room. Let me give you an example. Let's say there was someone on the good side of an investment. They deposited $5,000 into their tax-free savings, and it grew into $10,000. Once it grew, they decided they wanted to withdraw that $10,000 from their account. Now, at the beginning of the next calendar year, he will be able to deposit that $10,000 back into his tax-free savings account because he earned that space, and if he wants to deposit it back, he has now increased his maximum contribution space. Now, this also works the opposite way, where you can lose space. For example, let's say there was someone on the bad side of an investment. He put in $5,000 into his tax-free savings account. That investment went terribly and it went to zero. Now, at the beginning of the new calendar year, he will not get back that additional space that he lost in that account. That amount will be gone forever. Those are just a couple examples on how you can gain and lose space within your tax-free savings account. Now, those are both severe cases which are very unlikely to happen, but they could happen, so it's something to be aware of. Now, with all this information in mind, I just want to ask a quick question just to put things in perspective for you. Why would you put money in a savings account or even a high interest savings account when interest rates have been declining for the last 15 years and they're currently at an all-time low? When you are able to put money into your tax-free savings account, which you could possibly put into investments that will grow over time, and you're able to withdraw that money at any time you see fit. Now, I'll let you decide what's best for you. if you're interested in starting or opening your own tax-free savings account, I'll put a link in the corner of this video and down in the description as well, where it will give you a step-by-step tutorial on how you can open your own tax-free savings account to get started. And with that being said, I'm gonna end the video there because that pretty much sums up what a tax-free savings account is and how it works. Now, I hope this clears up any confusion around the tax-free savings account and it helped you understand how it works. If it did help you or you learned something new, just hit that thumbs up button down below. That would let me know that this was helpful. And consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and haven't already. And I want to thank you for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one.